Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. So all of these coffee suggestions have just been absolutely amazing. I have acted on some of your suggestions. I've ordered in a few different things, and I'll put a tweet out there once they all land in, and I'll let you know what I think about these sort of coffees, because ultimately we're all in crypto. We are fueled on coffee, if anything. So I really love the idea of everybody kind of just putting out there realistically, because for me, it's like ordering food with friends. You would always order the same thing if it were just you, but when you're with friends, it makes a big difference. You get to try new things. So let me know what has been going on. Let me know if you had a good weekend, and let's just jump straight into this. So there's been two videos, and the video today and the previous video to that one, which came out yesterday. Now, if you've watched both of these videos, you will get what I'm saying. If you haven't watched both of those videos, you're probably going to want to go and watch those videos just to get yourself in the know. I did state in yesterday's video that I stated something in today's video that I wasn't sure about. And the reason why is just because of recent actions, the way things are going, and the general feel of things. But there's one thing I always stand by is LUNC needs less people to quit on it. It needs more people to just not fall in line, but start to do what you're supposed to do, right? Do your job, do it to the best of your ability, obey governance, uphold the system. And I think as a blockchain, we benefit from a development team that has knowledge and is building knowledge and is going to continue. But at the same time, right, I could argue the whole thing. There's no side to this which you could adamantly say to yourself, this is the route, because there's arguments on both sides. But one thing we do know is governance has not been obeyed, and it's consistently not been obeyed. With recent developments, like I said yesterday, I'm not so sure, and we're going to be going over those shortly. So something to take into note, like I said, with this spend proposal is it's $9,000, which is broken down into three-month payments of 3K. And you're wondering to yourselves, how are they doing this all of a sudden? How is it all of a sudden become so cheap? And the simple response to that is they've got funds left over from LBA leaving, Frag leaving, and somebody else. My biggest issue I find at the moment with teams like this is they've all got silly nicknames. And you hear there's an Iron Man, you hear there's a Superman, you hear there's a Batman, and all sorts of different things. And you're left wondering who is really who, and this really lends credence to having paid developers KYC. But anyway, Iron Man is Superman, from what I've been made aware from the L1 team. So like I said, they've still got funding left over. This funding was almost at 1 billion. I did directly reach out to Vin, the L1 team lead, and said to him, these funds do need to be returned. I've spoken to LBA, and LBA has stated those funds do need to go back. Now, with that being said, there's payments that have gone out, and they've gone out yesterday specifically. So what I've got here is 5 payments highlighted in orange and then 4 in red. The first one in orange is just what I look to think would be a test payment, because for some reason they created a new wallet. So what we're seeing here is 2 cycles, okay, 2 development cycles, 2 quarters of where payments have been sent out. So here you've got 5 devs being paid, here you've got 4 developers being paid, so on and so forth. But there's still a considerable amount of funds left to be returned. We don't know how much is supposed to have been returned because we just don't have accurate breakdowns of anything. So like I was saying to everybody, it's now the situation once again where terror rebels were in power and they completely cut me out of the picture by simply ignoring me and acting as if I'm this really intrusive person who doesn't respect anybody, and I'm genuinely just bad for the chain. So with all of this being said, right, with funds, because my response from them was, we'll return the funds when we're ready to return the funds at the end of the quarter. It's like the funds should have been returned when LBA left, when Frag left. And it's people are saying, well, a certain someone saying, oh, you should be more patient. It's like, I'm not demanding anything. I'm simply stating those funds should have been returned, and that the likelihood of them getting returned, it should happen sooner rather than later. And We shouldn't have to wait till the end of the next spend quarter or the end of this spend quarter. In fact, as a blockchain, we would benefit from having those funds sent back now before the spend quarter comes up, so we can actually see those funds reflected in the community pool. Instead, what I believe is they thought no one noticed. And then all of a sudden they've realized, HCC's picked up on it. Boom, we better send some payments out now, and then we'll send what remains back. And it's a really bad attitude to go by. And like I said, it's one of those ones, right? Deep down in my heart, I don't want to see a knowledgeable development team leave. But at the same time, deep down in my heart, I don't want to see our lead developers putting time in on other blockchains, yet getting paid here. And it's all lending credence to this sort of joke that developers put on this blockchain as a whole. I mean, I could not have made a more predictable or accurate. I stated in a video, and I need to find it, that what's next? They're going to start charging us for a YouTuber being their PR. Oh, the next spend quarter's here. We're being charged for a YouTuber to be part of a team. How does that even add to infrastructure? How does that add to the wallet system? How does it add to anything? It doesn't. And that's the whole point I've suggested about this HCC dream team. And it's like picking your fantasy football dream team, right? It's what you think would be best. And honestly, going forward, the only people I believe that should be getting a payment right now is all nodes. They have been the guardian of this chain from the very beginning until now. And they've continued to do that even when Terra C Vita absolutely pulled one over on them by getting them to build all the infrastructure and then not even paying for it. And then leaving them holding the bag, holding all of those full nodes, which is probably about 8 of them. It's all lending credence to just get rid of them all. Just halt development for a month or two at most and find new people. Have a very streamlined team, have one project manager above them. And honestly, if it comes down to it, folks, I'll be the project manager. If it really comes down to that, bite to crunch, and we need someone there who is getting the word of the community put forward and getting governance obeyed, then so be it. That's how it has to be. That's what it needs to be. Then that's what it's going to be at the end of the day. If that falls upon me to do that, then I will do it. But I'm not going to go out and seek it. I'm not going to go out and try to claim power over the blockchain or try to be this over-possessive person that wants everything to go perfectly, because nothing goes perfectly. But ultimately, we all need to do our best to obey governance. And simply, governance hasn't been obeyed. So my argument in my previous video today is simply based on the fact that, like previously, I didn't want to see a development team with that kind of knowledge walk. But at the same day, if bite comes to crunch, and that's what it comes down to, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And, you know, ultimately, everything comes down to a decentralized decision. We can sit, we can talk, we can have Twitter spaces, we can do videos, we can do whatever we want. We can shake hands with the Pope. But ultimately, it all comes down to a governance-based decision. That's the beauty of our blockchain. Now, this, for me, so much has been broken, and now sort of this, all of a sudden, we're going to go do a load of layer 2 work. But hold on a minute, you told us you're not layer 2 developers. You said you can't develop anything layer 2. That's why they've brokered a deal behind closed doors, and it's, once again, it lends credence, more balance to the side of just getting rid of these people, considering that they're selling us upriver, considering they're getting in bed with Hexagon. Hexagon are starting to really, really take the mick out of this blockchain by simply hiring a YouTuber to help handle their public image. You know, it's at what point do we simply just go, they've got the knowledge, they've got what they've got, but ultimately we're going to be in a better situation than we were before. And what is a good example of this? What can we really look at as a historical account of situations like this? Edward Kim. Everybody thought when Edward Kim left this blockchain, it would be done, it would be finished, it was over. Still going. Tobias. If Tobias left, the blockchain would be done, it'd be over, it'd be finished. Blockchain's still going. Right? It's you. It's you, the community. It's not them. It's you. You're the ones who invest. You're the ones here. You're the ones who put in time, and ultimately they can build whatever they want. They can produce whatever they want. If you folks aren't interested and you're not using it, you're not supportive of it, then it's not going to work. It's as simple as that. The community is everything in decentralized finance. And I think the faster that gets recognized, the faster we're going to start to move upwards in price. So as to how I stand, it's one of those ones, like I said, bite to crunch. If they've got to go, they've got to go. And if we start to weigh things out from a business aspect and say, is this acceptable in a business environment? Simply the answer is no. Would you be fired in a situation, in a business, for working for another company when you're supposed to be putting in time at that company? Yes, you would be fired. So why aren't we doing this? I think they've got too much power. And ultimately, like I said, the only reason I would ever want to see these people stay would be on the terms that they are knowledgeable of the chain and that they're going to fall in line and they're going to change their naughty ways. They are going to go disconnect from Hexagon. But sadly, I just don't think that's going to happen. And if they get funded again, it's going to more or less, it's going to make their heads get even bigger. The control will get even further out of control. And it will just be another 3 months of absolute nothing. So at this point, even if they want to work for the chain for free, cool, go work for the chain for free. Build what you want, put it in the PRs, get it merged, bish bash bosh, cross the T's, dot the I's. But I don't think moving forward with the way, if you weigh this from a business aspect, no, you shouldn't bring these people back again. No, we shouldn't fund Hexagon's wallet system and their PR systems and everything like that. We just shouldn't be doing it. In the Dream Team video, if you haven't watched it, there's a chart in there and it really shows you that if all of this was to just stop, if the L1 team weren't paid, if Hexagon weren't paid, nothing would change. In fact, because we haven't paid anything out this quarter, the likelihood is the price would start to go up. The price would likely start to go up based on the fact that the community has put their foot down against these trashy development teams just absolutely sucking the life out of this blockchain. You'd have to be blind not to see it. And that's once again, if you take the scales and you put that on the left or the right, where does it go? It lends credence to them being removed because ultimately they've had many opportunities. But for me, right, like I said, I'm always part of that sort of, you've got to take a diplomatic approach at sometimes because a lot of people are, it's just emotional. So a lot of people probably weren't actually expecting that. And I totally understand and I totally respect it if you probably were a little bit upset about that. But I'm always here to answer and try and get you to best understand what I'm going through in my head, the notions in my head, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. It's very important you get an aspect like this, I think. So let me know what you think. Do you think as a community right now, we should put our foot down, we should get rid of all of these teams and we should get complete fresh blood in, regardless of the cost to the blockchain, even if people believe that it's going to hold development, it's going to make the price go down? Let me know what you think. Okay, it's so important you have input on this. Other than that, folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, I will catch you in the next one.